Special Relativity by Sam Hines, Benjamin Roth, and Anthony Winkley. Relativity is a concept defined by Albert Einstein in which he says that all motion must be defined relative to a frame of reference, and space and time are relative rather than absolute concepts. Relativity is broken up into the two subgroups of special and general relativity. In this video, we will be discussing special relativity. Special relativity, put simply, just says that the laws of physics don't change, even for objects moving in inertial frames of reference, which just means that both reference points are moving at a constant velocity. One important concept when it comes to the development and understanding of special relativity is Galileo's dictum. Imagine that you're in a closed box and cannot see out. Galileo's dictum says that there is no way to tell whether or not you are moving at a constant velocity or standing still, because everything inside the box is moving together. Now imagine that you can see out of your box and you see another box moving alongside you. In this case, there is still no way to tell whether or not it is your box or the other box moving, or maybe they are both moving. All you know is that there is relative motion between the two boxes. Thus, all motion must be defined relative to another body, because there is no way to tell absolute motion. Now we are going to show some examples of how relative motion can have some interesting consequences.
Now we are going to analyze how special relativity affects a hypothetical situation. Imagine that you see someone drive by you on the road. Now imagine that the car is traveling at half the speed of light. To you, it looks as though you are stationary and the car is moving past you. But to the person in the car, it seems as though they are standing still and the world is flying past them. To determine how their speed affects their relative time, pretend that they are looking at themselves in the passenger side mirror. To you, it seems as though the light has to travel this path. To the person in the car, who sees himself as stationary, the light travels this path. We know that light always travels the same speed for two objects moving at constant velocities, but from your perspective, light has to travel a further distance than it does from the other person's perspective. Therefore, using the equation speed equals distance times time, more time passed for you than it did for the person in the car.
Now we are going to look at one more example to see how relative speeds can affect time. This time, instead of standing on the side of the road, you are floating out in space. You see three rockets with relative motion moving to your right. The two outside rockets always follow the commands that the center rocket gives to them, and always exactly on time. The center rocket sends signals with radio waves, which we know travel at the speed of light. Now the center rocket sends a signal out to the other two rockets and tells them to eat lunch. From their perspective, it is you who is drifting to their right, and they are standing still. So the two outside rockets get this signal simultaneously, and to them, they start to eat lunch at exactly the same time. But to your perspective, the signal has to chase the lead rocket. Therefore, the signal hits the trailing rocket before the lead one, and its crew starts to eat lunch first. This example shows what Einstein thought about simultaneity. Two things might appear to be happening at the same time to you, but to another observer, depending on their speed, they might be happening at different times. To sum everything up, the faster something is traveling relative to something else, the less time passes for that object. Also, simultaneity is not measurable because it can differ depending on your viewpoint. Overall, Einstein's theories on relativity radically changed the way scientists think about time and space, and the way we view physics today.